Hello, and welcome to Fusion Writing, where building character meets creating structure. This is our Zettelkasten week, and we have a lot of fun stuff for you ahead. So, Victoria, you want to take it away?
Okay, so for those of you that have been following us, you know that I write a physical monthly newsletter, and you get the privilege of knowing a little bit about what's coming up in the newsletter because we talk about it here. So this month's coming newsletter is all about using character as a narrative convention. And like I said in my compass tease, one of the things that I had a little fun packing into this newsletter is prompting you to create several pools. Given that it's 100 degrees outside, that's a good thing to be doing right now. So let's build some pools. The first pool that I have you build is I call out something called role casting. And that means that your character plays a certain role or serves a function in the story. So rather than going deep into character development, this character is just going to be the helper, or maybe they're the trickster, or maybe they're the wise one. Whatever role or function they serve, each one of those buckets becomes a card that you can install in your new pool. So that's one. Start thinking about what roles or functions could a character serve as, and just create a little section for character roles that you can pull from in the future. Because what I'm arguing in my newsletter is, if you put your writer's brain on notice to be looking for and thinking about some of these different sections of things that I'm calling pools, it's like when you learn a new word, you're going to start seeing them everywhere. So, functions of a character is one pool. Now, what's the second one? Another one is character transformations. And what I'm talking about is, how can you show that a character has gone through a transformation? One of the examples that I give you when I tell you to build a pool in my newsletter is physical attributes. Sometimes you might see a character whose hair changes from black to gray, signaling they've gone through a transformation. Or maybe their eye color changes. Or they have a tingling sensation on the back of their head when the bad guy's nearby. Maybe they have a scar on their forehead that ties them to the bad guy. Whatever you come up with, a physical attribute is an easy way of signaling to the reader that there's been a transformation. So that's pool number 2. I have you create character transformations and just start thinking about, how could I tell a reader that this character has had some kind of shift or transformation in who they are or how they see the world. The final one that I'll give you is one that we've all talked about, we've all heard about. There's nothing new under the sun in this one: universal themes. Everyone should have a section in their Zettelkasten where you can dive into the pool of universal themes. What do those mean? Things like birth and rebirth, death, love is one of our favorite ones. Any of those big universal ideas that authors like to pack into their stories or wrap characters around can be a universal theme that you can play with. So I'm going to leave you there for today, because when we get to writing next week, hopefully you'll have some of these pools going and we'll start dipping into them for our writing prompts. Kathleen?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Victoria. I love your newsletter, and I hope everybody's going to jump in and get their chance to get your newsletter before the day goes to the printer, so that you'll get to have in your hands the very issue that Victoria is talking about. My newsletter works in a different way. I send my newsletter out in advance of the topic. So would have liked to have had the newsletter on generosity. It's too late. If you're a subscriber, you already have it. So because I want my subscribers to be able to go through it along with the studies that we do here. Well, one of the pages that we cover in every newsletter is how the character trait functions on the character profile diagram. Now, we've talked about those enough that this should be quite familiar to you. And I cover for each of my character traits what it looks like in each of those character positions in some detail. That's just one page out of my 24-page newsletter. But it's an important page. And if you don't get my newsletter, you're not out of luck, because last week I covered right here in Fusion Writing what the character trait of generosity looks like at all the positions on the character profile diagram. So you can turn back to that and review it, because your assignment for this week, for your Zettelkasten, because generosity is a spirit, it's not an act, it's a spirit. It can culminate in an act, but when generosity becomes an action, it's kindness. So while it's still just a thought, an idea, a readiness, it's a spirit. So that makes it rather difficult to capture. What does generosity look like? So now picture yourself, you're a writer. Well, of course you are. That's why we're here. But you like the Experience Collection Cafe. We all do. I love posting my experiences, and we do that in LiLLiPub all the time. People are always posting wonderful experiences in the library or in the Experience Collection Cafe over in LiLLiPub. Well, put yourself in a real cafe or put yourself in any kind of a situation where you can observe people and maybe hear conversations. Because what I want you to try to capture on a set of cards, I want you to be able to capture some note cards where you capture the spirit of generosity in each and every one of the 5 positions on the character profile diagram. It's going to take a lot of observing. You're going to have to ask yourself, what does generosity look like in a character that can't even see it? What would it look like? What if you were in a cafe and you heard a couple of people talking and the woman said, "Aren't you going to leave a tip?" Nah. Maybe you just caught generosity in the pinnacle position. So be on the lookout for it. What would tell you that it was in the wing, and just look for it. Look for it. Because when you start seeing it in the real world and you capture that and you write it down in your own handwriting on one of those cards, you've cemented it in your mind. And then when you want to create a character that has generosity in one of those positions, you've already got something that tells you, what did that look like? What did that look like to you when you saw it? And you'll have a much better idea of how you can portray it in your story. Victoria, what would you like to add?
Oh, that's fantastic. And I'm already sitting here thinking, using something like generosity as a signal for a shift in a character, that could certainly be a telling one. What happens when they go from a state of not having that trait to having that trait? And what does that transformation look like? There's a whole lot of stuff to dig into in this one. But the main question is, if people wanted to find us, where might they go?
They come to LiLLiPub, LiLLiPub.org. It's where we hang out when we're not here in YouTube land. LiLLiPub.org. Fusion Writing, you'll see links to every single one of our episodes all the way through. We've been at this for more than 2 years now, and you'll see them all there. 2.5 years, actually, close to. So you'll spot they'll all be there. You'll see the whole Experience Collection Cafe where people have posted months and months and months of experience collections. It's practically like having them yourself. You'll be able to post in the library and read other people's posts in the library and have some great chats going. And most of all, on Saturdays, you can come to our Fusion Writing gatherings where you can post your writing and get actual feedback from your writer friends in LiLLiPub.org, including Victoria and I. So come on over to LiLLiPub. We look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.